Well, I'd like to welcome everybody to our annual award event. This is a big deal for both our sworn commission staff, our support staff, as well as our community volunteers. So many things happen well in our department. I mean, every day, every minute of every day, there are good things going on, and our staff does incredible work in all areas of the police department. And unfortunately, the sad thing is, in this day in policing, you only hear about the bad things. But I can tell you, as someone who sees what goes on here 24/7, 365 days a year, that there are an incredible amount of good things that happen here all the time. I believe our staff is second to none in the work they do. You know, we had a particularly busy weekend, a lot of police incidents occurring, and our staff was there, away from their families, called out many times throughout the weekend, and they're giving their job 110%. So you get to hear a little bit about our staff today, the good things they're doing, as well as our community volunteers, that we continue to expand our efforts and partnerships with our community to engage more residents and citizens in our police department. With that, we're going to start off with the ceremony, as we have a number of awards to give. First of all, the Officer of the Year is going to be presented by Captain Brent Allred, and he's going to introduce our award recipient. I appreciate everybody's time, and thank you for being here today for this important event for us.
Thank you. Yes. Officer Jared Henry, would you like to come up and bring your family?
Okay.
Is it all 4 rows or just the one? Stand right over here. Hey.
It's my wife Melissa and my daughter Harper.
Hi, Harper. How are you? Officer Jared Henry is a 12-year veteran of the Wichita Police Department. He has been assigned to a number of different assignments during his career. However, in August of 2018, he was assigned to the Violent Crimes Community Response Team. Over the course of the past 12 months, Officer Henry has proven to be tenacious in his pursuit of the most violent criminals in our city. Along with the hard work by the men and women of the Wichita Police Department, Officer Henry has been an example of how hard work and working with the community can decrease violent crime in our city. Over the past year, Officer Henry has continually produced self-initiated arrests of the most violent offenders, with these cases being adopted and prosecuted by both federal and state partners. He possesses a skill set that he uses on a regular basis to apprehend suspects wanted for homicide, robbery, sex crimes, shooting, and many more. An example of his work was in March of 2018. Officer Henry started planning an operation with the ATF that eventually took place in May of 2019. The operation came to light due to Officer Henry observing violent gang members selling narcotics and firearms on social media. The operation ran for 9 consecutive days, and during that time, 19 individuals were arrested. 16 were already convicted felons, and 17 were gang members. ATF Special Agent Aaron Chafee stated, Officer Henry spent countless hours and days going above and beyond his normal work duties to ensure this operation was successful. In addition to the hard work, Officer Henry's ability to communicate and maintain a teamwork-driven attitude aided in the overall success. I can confidently say that our community is a safer place because of the work of Officer Henry. Officer Henry constantly flexes his schedules for the betterment of the department and the citizens of Wichita. He is an excellent leader for the less experienced officers. Officer Henry is passionate about bringing justice to those victims by locating and arresting the violent offenders who committed the act. It is my pleasure to announce the 2019 Officer of the Year for the Wichita Police Department, Officer Jared Henry.
Well, thank you guys for being here. Means a lot to me. I don't want to take up too much of your time because there's some great other recipients who have yet to go. So I also know you guys probably don't want to sit up there and look at me with this terrible mustache. So, but I would like to take the opportunity to acknowledge and thank a few people that have helped me get to this point. First and foremost, Officer Perry. He nominated me for this award with the help from a few others, and the awards committee for voting. I have only had the opportunity to work with Officer Perry for a couple of years, but he's somebody that I greatly respect, and he knows firsthand what it takes to win this award. So for him to take the time out of his day to nominate me means a lot, so thank you. I grew up just outside of Wichita, and I was a terrible kid. I got in trouble a lot, and I can remember to this day, before I would do something that I would eventually regret, I would take a second or two and look over my shoulder. And at the time, I'm not sure what I was really looking for, but after getting in trouble for several years and sitting down in front of my dad and explaining to him what I did wrong and why I did it, I just simply changed my ways. Over 12 years, I've had the opportunity to work amongst some heroes. A lot of them are in this room. A lot of guys I really look up to and appreciate everything they've done for me. But from as far back as I can remember and until the day I die, my dad will always be my hero. He worked 2 jobs while we were growing up, and excuse me. A lot of times he would get to work before the sun came up and stay till after it went down. And he's a man that gave me not only my last name, but gave me my work ethic, which I'm proud of, and a set of values that I'm going to pass on to my family. So thank you, Dad, for raising me and that terrible kid to be the man that you guys see up here today. I'd also like to acknowledge my wife. 7 years ago, I met her, and I was probably like a lot of young cops. I was wild and reckless, felt invincible, and she saved my life. She gave me purpose and has been my best friend since I met her. She gave me the best gift I could ask for, this little 3-year-old standing here in front of you. I didn't know love until I met her, and the way they look at me and how they treat me every day is a reminder of the good that I see in people. They have sacrificed more than anybody for me to be standing up here. I can't count the number of times my phone has rang at the most inopportune times, and I've answered that call to try to help the city. And I do that because I see their faces in the victims of crimes that we deal with. And I'd love to sit here and promise them that I'd never do it again, never answer that call, but I will. And I'll do it because it would break my heart to know that I could have done something to prevent them from being the next victims. So thank you for everything. About 20 years ago, I met a chubby little kid from Virginia by the name of Chris Hornberger. We went to high school together. We worked at Home Depot together. We went to college together, and we started the academy together. And it all started just from inviting him to come play street hockey with some friends, and to this day, I can't get rid of him. From being young friends to pushing a black and white up and down these streets, chasing the most violent people, there's nobody I'd rather have in that seat next to me. I trust that man with my life, and I owe a lot to him for being up here. So thank you, Chris. Turns out I turned into the chubby one now, so. I'd also like to thank a group of ugly men in the back that have terrible facial hair just like me, members of the Violent Crime Community Response Team. I rely on them every single day. They show up to work, deal with my bad attitude, my moodiness, and my demands, and they don't complain. They're there to back me no matter what, and I wouldn't have another group of guys do it. So thank you guys for being there. I'd also like to thank all the civilians and other sworn officers all the way up to the command staff for the work that they do for this department. We're all just cogs in a machine known as the Wichita Police Department, and the reason I'm able to do my job is because they do their job so great. So I thank them. At some point, we all do this job to try to keep crime down, and I just want to remind everybody that the reason we're up here is to keep those bad guys looking over their shoulder like I did when I was a kid, and try to keep this city safe, because no one wants their family to be the victim of violent crime. So thank you guys all for what you do. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me. Hope you guys have a good day.
You're good, thanks. The non-sworn employee of the year will be presented by Captain Travis Rakestraw.
Jeff, you want to bring your family up? Do you want to introduce them?
Yeah, this is my wife Erica, my son Harold, and my daughter Nellie.
And did someone tell me today's your birthday? It is. Happy birthday. Yeah. You can thank Erica for that. It's my pleasure to introduce Geoff Vail as our non-sworn employee of the year. Jeff has been with the city for several years. What year did you start?
2016.
2016. He started as a planning analyst, and more recently, he was moved over as a crime analyst at the end of last year. He was one of the founding members of a 6-person crime analyst team that we developed on our department, and he did a lot to get that team up off the ground and moving forward, so we thank him a lot for that. Jeff's reputation as an educator and trainer quickly grew throughout the department and outside of our agency. He began traveling to surrounding departments to teach officers from smaller suburban communities how to use public-facing crime analysis software, even earning official commendations for his efforts from the city of Andover. He has also led training sessions for detectives and the general public. His classes were so popular, he was asked to begin teaching crime mapping using ArcGIS at Wichita State University. The skills that he imparts to students were so highly valued that WSU is now creating a complete crime analysis certificate program and intends to expand their course offerings to include SQL, GIS, Python, and data visualization, which I have no idea what any of that is. Jeff also taught courses at the 2019 International Association of Crime Analysts, where he received very high ratings for his classes. Jeff has been critical to implementing problem-solving efforts within the Wichita Police Department. In his role as an analyst, he uses crime data to identify trends, link offenses to offenders, and presents that information weekly to officers and command staff. In addition to simply providing analysis, he has offered numerous alternatives to simply increasing patrols in order to reduce crime. In 2019, Jeff identified numerous retailers who were experiencing such high levels of repeat victimization that they were driving bureau-wide trends. He assisted in coordinating with those retailers and beat officers to change their practices to lower crime rates. On another instance, he identified increases in license plate thefts, where he spearheaded the efforts to distribute locking license plate screws to areas that have had the highest levels of concentration. Another time, he was able to connect dozens of larcenies and burglaries to one small group of minors and assisted in coordinating with command staff, officers, parents, and juvenile probation to adequately supervise them and prevent further criminal involvement. He has also been able to assist in confronting auto theft by mapping theft and recovery locations and identify aggregate patterns. Additionally, he has been able to develop lists of potential chop shop locations and offenders by connecting offenses together. Most recently, Jeff has provided significant analysis to support the creation of the new Central Bureau to help determine geographic boundaries and workforce deployment. Each week, Jeff is responsible for analyzing thousands of data points for his bureau, and he has been instrumental in training and implementing other analysts who handle similar volumes of data. While his ability to construct helpful and creative crime reduction strategies has had a significant impact in crime, the impact he has had through those he has influenced and trained has been even more significant. So it's my pleasure to introduce Geoff Vail as the non-sworn employee of the year.
First of all, thank you to the awards committee. I know there are a lot of other people who were worthy of this award out there, but in all honesty, Captain Rakestraw listed off a lot of things, and a lot of those fall under the crime analysis unit, and we all work together to, solve the problems and to come up with ideas and really push each other. The crime analysis unit really is the leading edge of the police department in terms of technology and stuff of that nature, and I couldn't ask to work with a better group of people. So thank you to everyone I work with, thank you to the awards committee, and of course, thank you to my wife and my family. There's been a lot of big projects come up where I have to, switch my working hours and stuff of that nature, and they've been very accommodating with me. So just thank you, everyone.
Captain Pinkston will introduce the volunteers of the year.
Becca, would you like to come forward, please? Do you have anybody want to stand up here with you? You have anybody want to stand up here with you? This is your chance to put them on the spot.
Oh, sure. Harvey, put up here.
You're welcome, Harvey. Okay, I want to say that Erica Cepeda is the one that nominated Becca for this award, and Erica was kind enough to allow me to read the nomination, so thank you, Erica. First off, Becca's been the executive director for the Wichita Police Foundation for the past year and a half. She works in the chief's office, has a close relationship. Those that work in the chief's office have a close relationship with Becca and get to see her hard work and her dedication. I was the one that for the first year or so was the liaison for Becca, and I got to see that as well. In 2018, Becca's done the following. She's provided bottled water officers at the 2018 Law Enforcement Parade. She planned and hosted a lunch with the chief in June of 2018 to elevate the visibility of the Police Foundation in the community. She facilitated a gift of $320 to the K-9 unit to fund needed equipment. She planned and hosted 2 Bingo for the Badges fundraiser events. She sponsored the Citizens Police Academy through the purchase of books for the fall participants. She partnered with the Wingnuts for the First Responders Appreciation Night, providing free tickets to WPD and other first responder agencies. I was there for that. It was a wonderful event. I'm not going to say it's Becca's fault the Wingnuts are gone, but because honestly, it was a really good event. We raised some money, but the Wingnuts are gone. I don't know what the deal is. In 2019, Becca's done the following. She attended 16 squad meetings to speak with officers about what equipment they felt was needed. She's attended many more squad meetings since then, but this is what she did starting off. The trauma kits were suggested at each squad meeting. She thought that was kind of a theme, and where it may seem kind of easy to you, she has been asking repeatedly, what can the foundation do? What can I do to facilitate the police department in your accomplishing your mission? What do you need from us? And it sounds simple, but it honestly was hard to identify things that were worthy of her time and attention that she could help provide us with. So I really commended her for that, but this is what she came up with, and she said this was mentioned at every squad meeting. She worked with me and Sergeant Crouch to identify the best trauma kit options and the needed components. Sergeant Crouch is kind of he kills you if you say subject matter expert, but honestly, he's a pretty good subject matter expert in what we were needing for those kits. She planned and executed a campaign to fund 40 trauma kits and then provided those kits to the WPD officers, and those have gone over quite well. The officers like those. They still mention those to me to this day. I'm back out in the field finally, and they mention those to us, and Becca's efforts, they were noticed by the officers, appreciated by the officers, and she still gets compliments about it. So she purchased 2 Clydesdales, 2 sets of draft size tack. Most of you probably don't know what that means, but from Kansas, you should know what tack is. She purchased 16 saddle pads, 16 reflective chest collar covers, 32 reflective leg reps for the WPD mounted unit. She planned and executed the campaign. She established relationships with businesses and individuals to secure the funding. She planned, funded, and hosted a VIP meet and greet for the Horse for Heroes sponsors to strengthen relationships between the community and WPD. She planned, funded, and hosted a public presentation of the Clydesdales to strengthen relationships between the community and PD. Any of you guys get to see the pictures of her standing next to those ginormous horses? Yeah, they're huge. She sponsored the Citizens Police Academy again and the Spanish Citizens Police Academy through the purchase of books for over 120 participants. She's serving on the planning committee for the 150th anniversary celebration that we have coming up. She sponsored food and beverages for WPD Grillin' and Chillin' City Crew event. The foundation to this day has provided over $400,000 in resources to the Wichita Police Department. She's always looking for ways to help the police department. She goes above and beyond to see how the foundation is able to help our officers or what funds are needed for events. During the Law Enforcement Memorial, she was able to donate money for all the fallen officers' photos that were on display in the hallways. Every time there's something big that happens, we know that Becca will be working hard to see how her and the foundation are able to help the WPD. We also know that she does not work an 8 to 5 schedule. She's always emailing and calling after hours, and she must not sleep sometimes because 3:30 in the morning is not uncommon to get a communication from her. Her dedication to the foundation and the PD is truly inspirational, and she sets the example with many unselfish acts. Policy 201 states that the McKee Volunteer of the Year Award is a volunteer, not an employee of the police department, who displays outstanding service to the police department through their volunteer effort, shall be eligible for the Volunteer of the Year Award. The award recognizes the unselfish commitment made to law enforcement by citizens who volunteer their time and effort on behalf of the police department, and I'm honored to say that Becca was selected for this honor. Let's give her a round of applause. turn to say something.
Well, if I would have known I was supposed to prepare a speech, I truly am beyond grateful and humbled to be receiving this award. Growing up, I was blessed to have the grandparents I did and the parents that I did that gave back to their community on a regular basis. So to me, it's just part of who I am. But when I came to Wichita, I had not met a single officer prior to moving here. And when I went to the Law Enforcement Appreciation Parade, I was immediately welcomed and blown away by the passion and commitment that they have to our community. So to all of you, you are the reason I do this job. You are the reason that I work the long hours and that it matters. You guys have a heart for our community that a lot of people don't see, and I am blessed to have had the opportunity to see that. I appreciate everything you do. You do have the support of your community, and I'm honored to be in the position that I'm in with the Wichita Police Foundation to help bridge that gap, and I will continue to try and go above and beyond to get you the equipment and the tools and the training that you need, because that's what you guys deserve. Again, this is a really humbling experience. I emailed my board right away when I saw that I was nominated and would be accepting the award, and told them that this is one of the most meaningful awards I've ever received. And that's because, you know, I don't do what I do for the recognition. I've never been that type of person. This is not a resume builder to me. This is my way of giving back. When I can help the police department and in turn help the community, that's fulfilling to me, and it's a wonderful thing to be a part of, and I'm so grateful to call you all family. I don't have family here in Wichita, but to me, you are my family. So thank you for the opportunity to be here. Thank you for the award, and thank you for giving me the opportunity with the Police Foundation to assist you in doing your job. So thank you very much.
Sergeant Kimball.
Good morning, everybody. I am pleased to present the same award, the Cooper McGee Volunteer Award, to Corey Reed. Corey Reed, can you come up, please? My height. Now we're talking. Okay, Corey Reed attended the Citizens Police Academy Session 57 from 8/22 of 17 to 11/14 of 17, in which he was voted the class president. Corey's work had him in contact with police officers on a regular basis. He was intrigued by the work law enforcement professionals do, and he knew by attending the Citizens Police Academy class, he would learn more what goes on through the minds of police officers. Corey Reed at first did not join the Alumni Association, but he watched to see what the organization did. In late 2018, Corey Reed, knowing that the 2-year term of the current president was coming to an end, he decided to run for president. Corey won that election and immediately started planning with the new board members to see where he could take the CPAAA. As a new president, Corey indulged himself into the organization. He reached out to past members, renewed their interest in the CPAAA. He developed committees that were responsible for many aspects of organization. It now has a new logo. The volunteers have shirts and name tags, making them recognizable to the public. He started a newsletter, keeping members informed, volunteer opportunities, and future presentations. The newsletter brought information needed to keep members informed and interested. Attendance in the meetings grew from 10 to 15 to an average of 40 members per meeting now. As the president of the Citizens Police Academy Alumni Association, Corey Reed has met with many of the command staff to see where his members could serve the department the most. Many programs have started and rely heavily on the CPAAA and volunteers that man these positions. Volunteers now patrol the downtown area on golf courts. They man the Old Town cameras, recruit graduations, community, and patrol picnics, which have been well received. With Corey Reed as president, The Alumni Association has become visible and much respected organization. New membership in the Citizen Police Academy has grown immensely with the positive media coverage that they have received. The impact on the community has been noticed throughout Wichita and surrounding areas. This was featured in the East Side News magazine, newspaper on the east side of Wichita. Under his leadership, the CPAAA members have new and exciting opportunities to give back to the city and supporting the men and women who serve the community. Corey Reed has shown a great amount of enthusiasm as the CPAAA president. He's created a Facebook page, helped the members stay up on events and volunteer opportunities. For his work and efforts, Corey Reed displayed, he has been awarded the Cooper McKee Volunteer of the Year Award. Say something, please.
I am like Becca. I did not have a prepared speech, but thank you very much to the committee and those that nominated. It's very humbling. As Sergeant Kimball had said, that about 8 or 9 years ago with my work, I got to meet a lot of law enforcement officers through tragic events, and that's where I really got to see a softer side of the men and women in blue. And it's not that everyone is able to access that part of police officers, law enforcement officers, to see the heartfelt dedication and commitment to their jobs, and actually get to see them as people behind the badge. And that kind of drew me in. But my work with CPAAA is kind of seeing that side has kind of motivated me to want to do better for them by having the membership and the support of volunteers through the Citizens Police Academy Alumni Association. Got to give a little shout out to you all. They're here representing as well. Just a great group of people that want to volunteer and give back to the community and help these men and women in blue. And that's what motivates me. That's what drives me. And you have all welcomed me in. And I feel like I'm part of the family, so I appreciate that. And I appreciate what you do for our community and keeping us safe. And this is just an honor, so I thank you very much for it.
Dr. Stamps. Stacy. In 2015, Officer Dustin Nail was selected to become a canine handler for the Wichita Police Department. Officer Nail was paired with police service dog Nash, whom was a Belgian Malinois. Officer Nail set out looking for a veterinarian to provide care for Nash and contacted Dr. Gary Stamps at the Animal Hospital at Auburn Hills. Dr. Stamps eagerly volunteered to provide care for Nash and told Officer Nail that he would do it at no cost to the city of Wichita. In April of 2017, Dr. Stamps and his wife, Stacy, organized an open house for their business. Officer Nail was contacted and asked if he would be able to perform a canine presentation for the expected crowd. They also had a photograph taken of Officer Nail and Nash that is currently hanging in their waiting room. What was unknown to Officer Nail and us at the time was that Dr. Stamps and Stacy were planning a fundraiser for the Wichita Police Department Canine Unit. The Animal Hospital at Auburn Hills sold T-shirts that said #LoveWPD Canine Unit. The open house fundraiser was a huge success. At the end of the fundraiser, Dr. Stamps and Stacy presented us with a check for over $7,000. Dr. Stamps continues to provide care for Nash. He routinely answers questions for myself about current trends or medical conditions that some of our dogs have. On May 4th, 2019, Dr. Stamps and Stacy launched the Courage Fund with an open house and a canine demonstration at the Animal Hospital for Auburn Hills. Officer Nail and Nash and then Sailor from the Wichita Fire Department gave a demonstration. This open house gave the community a chance to celebrate the dogs and also raise more funds for their future care. At the open house, Councilman James Clendenin declared May 4th as a Courage Fund Day to support working service dogs. There's been talk about us potentially in the future getting a bomb dog, and I've already been contacted by Stacy and Dr. Stamps about them wanting to provide free care for the future potential bomb dog that we might get. So it's my honor to present you with the Cooper McKee Volunteer of the Year Award.
I don't have a thank you very much. And before I forget, I feel like the whole staff that I have the privilege to work with at the Animal Hospital at Auburn Hills ought to be up here. But I don't have a speech prepared either, and I'm not going to talk very long. But Stacy, my wife, here told me, she said, that's okay, you're good at winging things. So I hope so. I don't feel like I ought to be up here like most everyone else has said. I'm looking out at a room of first responders, law enforcement, individuals, and you men and women are truly my heroes. And in a lot of ways, I feel like I'm a weakling in a gym with a bunch of power lifters looking out at you guys. And it's an honor and privilege to provide the care that we do in the way we can. You know, I am a veterinarian, and I feel like that's an easy thing for us to do, is to try and provide care for Nash. And the fire department has search and rescue dog Sailor, and as you mentioned, you know, there might be a limit with the number we could take care of, but at this point, we would love to continue that care. It's the least we can do. You guys and the dogs put their lives on the line every day, and I am so appreciative of that. It's a privilege. I guess lastly, I just want to say, you know, Scripture reminds us that I'm to employ any special gifts we have in serving others, and I feel like that really is what we're about, what I'm about, is I consider it a real privilege. But you guys ought to be up here, every one of you. Thank you.
Well, that includes our formal presentations. As you can see, we've got a lot of treats up here, and we hope you can stick around for fellowship and to congratulate our winners today. Thank you very much for being here.